Disney promised you a sweet princess saved by true love's kiss. But the Brothers Grimm's 1812 original reveals a horrifying truth. Snow White should have watched her stepmother dance to death in red-hot iron shoes. While Disney shows a gentle queen asking for fairest of them all, the original queen demanded Snow White's lungs and liver to cook and eat. If this is already blowing your mind, smash that like button and subscribe to Beyond the Castle. Because what I'm about to reveal will completely destroy everything you thought you knew about Snow White. The huntsman wasn't supposed to spare her. He was ordered to bring back her organs for a cannibal feast. Where Disney gave us 7 happy dwarfs, the Grimm brothers wrote about a young woman tortured with poisoned combs and suffocating corsets. This wasn't a children's story, it was a brutal warning about murderous jealousy and medieval justice, written when public executions were entertainment. The Brothers Grimm collected Sneewittchen in 1812 Germany, where public torture was still legal and stepmothers regularly murdered stepchildren for inheritance. Unlike Disney's Magical Kingdom, this was recorded during an era when young women died from poisoned cosmetics, and women were burned alive for witchcraft. The Grimm collection wasn't children's literature. These were adult warnings about real dangers. Snow White folklore served the same purpose as medieval crime ballads, teaching survival through horror. In early 19th century Germany, beauty competitions literally killed. Women used lead makeup that rotted their faces, and mirrors contained mercury that drove people insane. The original queen's obsession wasn't vanity, it was murderous psychosis that audiences recognized from real court scandals. Disney erased this entire cultural context of stepmothers as literal threats to young women's lives. The Grimm brothers specifically documented these tales because people were dying from the exact situations the stories warned against. The Grimm original begins with attempted murder. The queen orders the huntsman to kill Snow White and bring me her lungs and liver as proof because she plans to boil and eat them. When that fails, she personally attempts murder 3 times. First with a poisoned comb that nearly kills the young woman, then with corset stays laced so tight that Snow White cannot breathe, and finally the apple. Each attempt is described with graphic detail. Snow White falls as if dead repeatedly while the queen watches. Disney completely erased the queen's hands-on torture attempts. The ending is pure medieval brutality. At Snow White's wedding, the queen is forced into iron shoes that had been heated red hot and made to dance until she fell down dead. The original audience watched Snow White force her stepmother to dance to death in burning metal. The story may be based on Margaretha von Waldeck, a German countess who died at 21 from suspected poisoning in 1554. Her stepmother, Katharina of Hatzfeld, inherited everything after Margaretha's mysterious death. Most horrifically, Margaretha lived in a mining region where workers labored underground in conditions so brutal they were called dwarfs, from stunted growth and malnutrition. The magic mirror reflects real medieval poison detection methods using mercury glass that showed skin discoloration. Even the apple connects to documented assassination attempts. The Borgias famously used poisoned fruit to eliminate rivals. The red-hot iron shoes execution was a real medieval punishment called dancing the iron ballet. Victims literally danced until their feet burned through. Disney sanitized an actual historical murder case where a stepmother eliminated her stepdaughter for inheritance money. Disney's 1937 sanitization followed strict moral codes designed to hide medieval reality from Depression-era families. Early concept art showed the Queen's cannibalistic feast, but Walt Disney personally ordered its removal to avoid traumatizing audiences who were already suffering from economic hardship. The biggest cover-up? Disney removed all evidence of the Queen's systematic abuse. Where the Grimm version showed methodical torture, Disney created a single poison apple attempt. They invented the true love's kiss to replace the original's accidental awakening when servants stumbled carrying her coffin. Most egregiously, Disney transformed the climactic torture execution into a simple fall from a cliff. Internal memos revealed Disney executives knew the original was too realistic about family violence. They weren't adapting a fairy tale, they were covering up a historical murder case. Disney's version so dominated culture that most people think stepmothers are just mean, not literally murderous. Before 1937, Snow White illustrations showed the Queen's cannibalistic feast and burning feet execution. Now even academic texts use Disney's sanitized imagery. The sanitization made people vulnerable by removing warnings about real family dangers. Where the original taught audiences to recognize and escape systematic abuse, Disney taught them to wait passively for rescue. Most tragically, we lost the Grimm ending's justice. The original showed abusers facing consequences, while Disney's version lets evil simply fall away. Modern domestic violence rates mirror the original's warnings that Disney erased. The original Snow White's warnings are devastatingly current. The Queen's systematic abuse mirrors modern domestic violence cases. Like the original, abusers often try multiple methods and escalate when previous attempts fail. Her cannibalistic fantasies parallel real cases of family members murdering relatives for insurance money or inheritance. The poisoned cosmetics reflect today's dangerous beauty standards that literally kill through eating disorders and cosmetic surgery deaths. Even the dwarf mining parallels modern labor exploitation that stunts growth and development. Most chillingly, the stepmother's jealousy mirrors documented cases of family violence over perceived competition. Disney's sanitization removed warnings that could save lives. The original tale wasn't entertainment, it was a survival guide disguised as folklore. The real Snow White wasn't about finding love, it was about surviving family violence and ensuring justice for victims. The grim ending is powerful because it shows abusers facing consequences. The Queen literally burns to death for her crimes while her victim watches from safety. Disney lied because they prioritized profit over protection. But the original's power came from that unflinching honesty about family dangers. Next time you see Snow White singing happily, remember, her real story ends with a tortured woman watching her abuser burn. The seven dwarfs weren't cute helpers. They were laborers who recognized another abuse victim. That's the true legacy, a warning carved in literature about the real monsters who live in family homes.